My first few weeks at WHAS were very strange, at least for me. WHAS was going through a very painful transformation. It was in the process of evolving from old-time engineer-dominated equipment operation to the newer jock-operated combo situation. That is, where the jock announcer operated his own console or board. It was Sweet 16 time, a major basketball playoff series, so most of the programming was coming from that remote. My job, those first few weeks, was to sit in a small audio booth and do live station breaks at the top and bottom of the hour. Imagine, for half an hour doing nothing, then an engineer points at you and you say, "This is WHAS, Louisville, Kentucky." Then back to waiting for half an hour till the next station break. Now I must admit those first few live breaks were terrifying. I mean, it was like, don't mess up, this is the big time. It was back to the knot in your stomach with anticipation pressure thing. But one survives the pressure or gets out of the kitchen. Good thing I like to cook.
Now, the red line will indicate to you the progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat for you this afternoon. We'll be speaking with a representative of the Muck Mire Development Corporation. Sir,
I beg your pardon?
We're going to do a radio interview, and
certainly.
Your name is
Wade.
Wade?
Yeah, Wade Through.
Wade Through, I say.
You can call me Wade.
You are a representative of the Muck Mire Development Corporation. Is that
Muck Mire Development Corporation? That's right.
Is that a large organization?
Large and getting larger. Yes, it's going to be tremendous. Well,
what type of an organization is it, Wade?
We encourage people to invest for their own good in land, of course, and we have these entire areas of land throughout the country. We've had some big development areas already that have progressed through our efforts.
You buy land and then sell it?
Yes, we have several places around the country right now. I could mention some to you, but it would take a long time.
Well, go ahead. We've got a little
Well, just
time.
a couple. We have the Swampland Lagoons.
Swampland Lagoons?
Yeah, that's out in Florida.
Uh-huh. What is that exactly? Is that...
it
doesn't sound too enticing.
No, it's not. I wouldn't say that it was enticing in a sense, but on the other hand, who knows what's under that swamp?
That's right.
I mean, they discovered marble in Alabama under swamp, you know, and there's no telling what they'll discover in Florida. They discovered part of Alabama.
The part that was under the
yeah.
I see. Well, I guess there's a trick, isn't there, to buying land? What should one know before they buy land?
A number of things. One thing is weather. Weather's extremely important.
Weather?
Temperature, yeah. For example, when we bought the Great Northwestern Ice Slides, we didn't go up there in the summer. We're doing great stuff here. I mean, the way I see it, we have the Barren River Straits. We're working on that right now.
That's here in Kentucky, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's going to be our biggest thing to date.
Could you describe that land for us?
Oh, I can. Actually, it's, you've heard of an arroyo, haven't you?
A what?
An arroyo?
No, sir.
That's where rivers used to be. Well, the Barren River is going to be sort of seasonal. I mean, we have there so sometimes there's water, sometimes there's not. We have the Moses tributary that comes in once a year. And actually, the homes there are going to be on pontoons. Yeah, with 100-foot ropes tied to shore. And as a side company, in case there's a little trouble, we have the anchor and boat service.
I see.
Yeah, it's going to be a terrific thing. Listen, you wouldn't like to make a little investment, would you?
How much could one buy a plot of land for in the Barren River Straits?
Well, let me put it this way. You may think it's a big investment, but our down payment is so low. Our down payment is, well, I'll tell you what we'll do for you. We'll give you an acre of bottomland right in the Barren River for $50. And that's only a beginning. Because the bigger that river gets, the more your money's worth.
I suppose it would be.
Oh,
yes.
You'll have fertile land there. Think of your undersea crops. I mean, oceanographers want that area. But we're keeping it for people, working people like yourself, a family man. You're a family man, are you not
yes,
married?
Sir.
That's right. You're a salaried individual. We keep it for people like that because there's too many rich people in this country right now. At least that's the way I've always felt.
How did your company come about with its name, Muck Mire? That's...
Well, it is kind of catchy.
Yes, it is.
Actually, we were rained out of a couple of places, and we were doing some work in India during the monsoon. Some years ago, we were going over there to try to help the Indians out of their money. And it got rained on. They call them the monsoons over there. And actually, we were pretty well bogged down. We were going to call it the Bogged Down Construction Company. But there was one of the fellows married a girl whose maiden name was Bog. You know how that is, and it gets to be a mess. So we called it Muck Mire.
Muck Mire.
Yeah. And
it's got a lusty type of old Western...
Yeah, and it helped us because they were a couple of our creditors, and they let us use the name. You know, you name something after somebody, they feel good about it, you know. Anyway, it's been a terrific hit ever since that name, as a matter of fact. We started to go straight up. We got the plane out of there as quick as we could, and went to Idaho for a while. Idaho's a big potato.
From India to Idaho.
Yeah, we like the eyes.
Hung up on the eyes.
Yeah, the eyes have it. And at least that's what I've always said.
Well, how long have you been with the Muck Mire Development Corporation?
12 days. But the company's...
Having only been with the company for 12 days, how do you know all this stuff about the company?
Well, I'm not the kind of guy that just jumps into things. You can understand that by looking at me.
Right.
You know. Actually, this suit I'm wearing ought to tell you something. You know the way a man dresses. It's made of genuine cloth. But I'm the kind of guy that does a little research.
Right.
When I was skeptical, as I know you must be, about the Muck Mire Company. But I did a little research, and I found out that there was a lot of land on their property. And I thought, well, this must be a good place to get in, you know, to go to work for these people and find about. So I went over, and they said I was what they were looking for. A guy who really knew where it was and was going to try to get it.
And you were hired right on the spot?
I was hired right on the spot, actually, because we didn't have any chairs in the office. And I went right to work immediately for them. I took their brochure, and I read the page through. And... I knew right away that, you know, those 12 sentences were going to make me a rich man.
What were those 12 sentences? What did they say?
I don't know what they said exactly, but they said a lot of things like keep your chin up. And of course, in our land, you kind of have to, because, like I say, we seem to have get in a lot of rainy places.
Wasn't I reading a few weeks ago where the Muck Mire Development Corporation has come under congressional fire, is going to be investigated by the Senate Judiciary Committee for unfair developing tactics?
Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to come clean with you because I like your face. I'm serious about this. That's just a disgruntled employee who made up a lot of false material, a lot of false forms, and sent them to the government. We welcome that investigation. I mean, we welcome it. We're proud of what we've done, and that's this disgruntled employee, Sam Sorehead. He was there. He worked for us for a while. As a matter of fact, I took his place.
I see. You took Sam Sorehead's place, huh?
Sam left suddenly. And as a matter of fact, I don't think he'll show up at the hearing. But we have a thorough and complete operation here, and I know that once the Senate investigating committees find out about it, and realize that their checks are in the mail.
Wade, have you invested in land from Muck Mire yourself?
Let me tell you, pal, I'm not a guy, I'm not a front runner. I'm a person who has invested himself. I've got a beautiful home in the Swampland Lagoon.
You have a home in the
correct.
Swamplands?
Beautiful. Split level.
Split level?
That's right, split level. I didn't intend it to be that way, but one end of it just sunk in the ground.
Sunk into the swamps, is it? I guess it's a little tricky building on swamps.
Well, it's a little tricky, actually, but if you're fast on your feet, you can get out of there alive.
Well, Wade Through of the Muck Mire Development Corporation, I want to thank you for being on our show this afternoon. It's been very enlightening, and I realize you have to run. You mentioned something about an appointment.
Yeah, that's right, pal. I've got an appointment at the Federal Building.
Another land deal?
Oh, I think this might be a time deal.